Welcome back to Coin Mojo. I have the month of September $8,000 quarter hunt. Each of these Ziploc baggies with dates on it represent for one bag of $1,000 quarters where I pull keepers. So this is an overall view of all the coins that I stacked up in those baggies. I only pull silver, proofs, West points, airs. I pull a lot, but I set them aside, and at the end of the month I go through them and I figure out what I should keep and what I should get rid of. It's a process that breaks everything down much quicker. And as you can see, I'm doing this flyover. You can see the silver, the West points. There's some Canadian in there, some damaged coins. These are error coins right now. This one right here is the In God We Rust error you may have heard about. This looks like a impaired planchet. These are the Washington crossing the Delaware. There are many die chip errors on the tricon on top of George's hat, and there's the crown. All right, and then I pull all of the 2019, 2020, not all, but all the ones that are in good condition, as well as older quarters that are in mint condition looking. These are the latest 2023s here, and I will go through these and pull out the ones of importance or significance. There has been noted multiple die chip errors on the Philadelphia minted Bessie Coleman. All right, next up we pull all of the S-minted coins. I have a handful of cameo proofs here. That was the New York State quarter. This is a 1982 S-minted cameo proof. These no doubt have been recently broken out of mint sets and made its way into circulation where I found it. Here is a 1971 that looks really nice. A little bit of marring on the field, but in very great shape. All right, next we have the 2001 S-minted cameo proof Vermont quarter, 2001. And then we have this, which is just an S-mint. It's not cameo. It's a 2012 El Yonque. I don't even know how to say that. El Yonque. 1978 S. It is cameo, but it's been through the mill a little bit. Lots of wear and tear on that one. Okay, next up, another cameo proof. S minted. Nice field. Darkfield, South Carolina, 2000. All right, we found 5 West points this month, or in the month of September. This is a Marsh Billings Rockefeller 2020 with the privy. Not in bad shape. It's been 3 years in circulation, so here's another 2020 Marsh Billings Rockefeller. That one's in better shape than the previous one. Again, the privy mark, and here is yet another 2020 Marsh Billings Rockefeller. That's 3 in the month of September alone, and these are still pulling, $10 to $15 on eBay. The prices have come down on eBay for these since they've been released, but they're still demanding $10 to $15. This is a 2020 Salt River Bay, again with the privy mark. I found all 2020s West points in this last month. The next one up here is also a 2020. This is the National Parks, the Bat Quarter, American Samoa. And again, having been in circulation for the last 3 years, you would expect to see a little bit of gunk on them. Next up, we have this silver proof. Don't find these very often. I probably have only found one this year. Matter of fact, I'm certain that this is the only silver proof I found. But I have found a couple silver quarters, and this 1963 looks like it's fresh out of a mint set, and it's only seen minimal circulation. It's in pretty nice shape, nice luster on it. Finding silver quarters like that is not the usual, nor are finding ones that are black like this. That's 64D and a 53D. They're usually in better condition, but you can see the range of condition that you find in a typical hunt. So moving beyond the silver quarters, 65 I find plenty, but never in this condition. So out of all the better minty condition, early 60s, 70s, and 80s, these are the 9 that I've kept. This is what I'm looking at when I keep, it's the luster on the coin and the edges still sharp like they were brand new. The 1970 quarters, there was a mint error where they stamped a quarter, I believe, on a dime planchet, and as you can see, the dime planchets only weigh 2.2. Both the 1970 quarters that I weighed there were in the 550 range, well within the tolerance for a 1970 quarter. And you may already know that in the early 80s, the advent of the video game came out, so that 1983 is pretty rare to find in good condition. As you know, finding coins like this are also part of the game, and you have to sort these out. Machines won't take them. Then we move on to the 2009 low mintage. I pull most of those out looking for better condition, and now we're looking at our In God We Rust Kansas State Quarter. This is the Delaware State Quarter with the spitting horse. Of course, the Arizona extra leaf on the cactus right at the base. And then we have this 2019 San Antonio Missions with the die chip glob at the left end of the cross. Okay, we're going to take a closer look at these Arizona die chip errors with the glob at the bottom of the cacti. This is the In God We Rust Kansas State Quarter. You can see the G and T in God and Trust are somewhat obliterated by a grease. This is the spitting horse, and as you can see, there is a long die crack running through the work. Cesar Rodney. Some goes up to Cesar, others go right through, right to the rim. Here again is the San Antonio Missions 2019, and that glob at the end of the cross can be found and at the ends of the cross, either at the top, to the left, right, or bottom. This one just happens to be just to the left, and sometimes on the roof of the mission itself. And then we get to the crown. So a batch of these have landed in Michigan. When they first came out, it was mostly Michigan collectors that were selling them on eBay. These are still selling on eBay for a decent amount of money. One thing that I've noticed is that the crown die chip error has a common trait, and that is that there is also a die chip just above the letter T in quarter in the ice flow. This next quarter here is showing die clashing, which is really the neck of George Washington from the obverse clashing onto the reverse die, and it kind of make it look like George has got a face mask on. Ironic for the 2021 quarter. I pulled 3 of those in the month of September. I find plenty of the other smaller die chips on the Tricon, and what happens is the die starts to break down and chip away. And so this is pretty common amongst the George Washington Crossing the Delaware Quarter 2021 on the Philadelphia minted. And I think, again, it has to do with the deep draw on the dies. And that brings us to the 2021 P Washington Crossing the Delaware Crown die chip. This is the big crown. These are primarily found in Michigan and Maine. This quarter, and I've been really focusing in on this. I found a few of them, coin roll hunting here in Michigan, and I wanted to point out a common trait amongst the die chip or the crown die, and a relative distinction between the smaller die chips and the large crown die chip. And that is, as you can see, this quarter doesn't have any die chipping, but it does have a small chip in that ice flow down there just above the letter T in quarter. And so I'm going to do a series of photos with the crown and show you that die chip is present on the crown. Now, this is a quarter that doesn't have any die chipping at all, but it has the die chip in the ice flow right at that point above the T. Now, this is the crown, and it has the same die chip above the letter T. So those first two with no chipping are pre-crown die chipping. So again, 2 with no chipping on the Tricon and die chips in the ice flow. And here's the crown again with the same die chip in the ice flow just above the letter T. Now that one has a small chip in the Tricon, but no chip in the ice flow. So that is either off of another set of dies, because through my research I have determined that there are 7 different presses that punch out quarters for the United States Mint in Philadelphia. So we're talking about 2 separate die sets. So the point being is that if you were going to collect the crown die chip error or progression of, you need to see that die chip in the ice flow to make it legitimate. So based on my research, my opinion is that any progressive die chip for the crown has to include the die chip in the ice flow. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about 2022. That's where they introduced the Women in History quarters. There's 5 every year, 2 of which in the first year, 2022, we had Sally Ride and Wilma Mankiller that had anomalies or die chips or die clashing. So I pulled 3 Sally Rides that demonstrate die clashing on the reverse. That's the first two and then the third image. And then the Wilma Mankiller had die clashing as well, which is showing you George Washington's eyelid between the letters I and L, and then this area over her shoulder, and then a third distinct clash mark on the obverse. To see if you have this die clash, flip the coin over to the obverse, and right behind George Washington's earlobe, you will see this line. That line is part of Wilma's hair line, and that makes this coin unique because it has clashing on both the reverse and obverse. Another common die chip on the Wilma Mankiller coin is in the hairline and on the star. There's this die chip. The Wilma Mankiller also had a huge die crack, and those coins were selling for upwards of $800 when they were first discovered. Very few have been listed and sold on eBay, and I have never found one here in Michigan. So I grabbed a couple screenshots of that particular error from the internet. This is the die crack above the Washington's head, and then on the reverse, it goes right through the entire coin, practically, through the star. Then we come to this 2003 Illinois State Quarter with some copper showing through the cladding. I've listed a couple on eBay. I haven't had any luck selling this type of coin. These are also better condition America the Beautiful quarters that also were included in the West Point series. I want to apologize for the gold-looking color. I found out that the blue matte is causing this on my phone. And so here are the Canadian quarters that I pulled this month, and most likely keep the 3 commemoratives at the top and dump the rest. All right, that brings us to the 2023 Bessie Coleman quarters, which was plagued with die chip errors. Here's the bubble on the nose getting ready to break out. That is the wart on the nose. There's die chipping on the struts on the lower wing here. And then there is a little bit of also another chip on the lower wing. Here's a chip on the upper wing below the letter U. Again, another die chip on the top of the wing. This one seems like it's getting ready to break out. These are selling for, $3 to $6 on eBay today. Another die chip on the upper wing here. Multiple die chips, none of which are too big. This one is a crease in the nose, and I believe that's just from when the metal flows into the die, it just doesn't quite fill it completely. So that's it. There's that nose wart again. And then as far as the Edith Kanaka Ole, there is some die chipping in the incused lettering in Kanaka, the K and the A, as you can see here. And then again in this second one, which is mostly in the K, that's pretty common. There is a big error where this Edith Kanaka Ole does get transferred into the obverse die, so you'll see it in George Washington's hair. The Eleanor Roosevelt quarter, I haven't found many Philadelphia mints here in my area, mostly Denver mint, and Denver doesn't usually produce errors. Okay, well, that's going to do it for this hunt. That's the month of September, $8,000 in quarters searched. If you have any pictures you'd like to share or questions you'd like to ask outside of this forum, you can see me on Facebook at Coin Mojo's Coin Roll Hunting. Also, check me out on eBay, where I sell most of the coins that I find. And as you know, I invest a lot of time in this hobby, and I need to raise funds to help support my habit, which means driving around in my gas guzzler, going bank to bank to look for coins so that I can add to my collection or sell. I covered a lot of ground in this video, so I got to believe there's some thoughts in your heads or questions in your head. Please comment and also share my videos so that, I believe that I'm teaching here. So I hope that you've learned something, and I hope you come back and check me out again on the next episode of Coin Mojo's Coin Roll Hunting. Coin Mojo out. Thank you very much.